That's all. So I'm probably gonna cry and I'm definitely gonna embarrass myself. So just a heads up. Thank you. Like a lot of the other fourth years, the first time I met Micah was during auditions for VGs during my first year. I remember walking up to the lawn and asking where to sign up. This kid I had never met before approached me, introduced himself, and asked me if I was interested in the VGs. So I told him, I don't really know if the old-timey thing is like for me, but I'd been to YouTube, and I had seen the Give Me Love video. And I told him, I thought I'd give it a try. Well, he told me he was the soloist, and I literally had no idea. I felt like a complete idiot, and then I was brown-nosing, and I was definitely not getting in this group. But to be fair, Micah, your hair, first year, he had like this, it was like a pseudo, like Beatles meets Teenage Angst thing going on. Yeah, please keep it short. So I have been tasked with giving a speech about Mike Iverson, a white kid from Japan, a man who causes ladies and men, myself included, to swoon, the sound of his voice, a member of the Virginia Gentlemen, obviously, and the president of this organization, and last but not least, one of my best friends. Before I get started though, which this will be a while, I apologize, I'd like to note that I was not the only one interested in speaking on Micah's behalf. In fact, I almost got in a fight with another VG over it. And that is not meant to show that we argue in this group, which we definitely do, probably more than we should, but that all of us are extremely close with one another and have countless stories we wish to share with you that portray how much Micah has meant to us. So with that being said, I'm going to share a few of the stories that chronicle my time with Micah, and that will hopefully paint a picture of the kind of man he is. First story, basket deliveries. For those who don't know, there's a week in the spring where all the sororities, it's called Big Sis Week, and all the second years of sororities will try and deliver baskets to their littles, but instead of them delivering them, they'll ask guys to do it, mainly athletes, and then a cappella. So Mike and I were tasked with one night delivering, I think it was honestly about 15 baskets to old dorms. And each time we sang the same song, Collide by Howie Day. It's this, even the best fall down. Yeah, and of course the girls were just looking at Micah. And I'm standing over there, I'm like, I don't know. But with the semester of VGs behind us, I developed a really close relationship with Micah, and I felt that we were becoming great buds. It was not until the end of the night that he leaned over to me and he said, "Wow, I didn't know you could actually sing." True story. Characteristic number 1, Micah is candid and open. So second story. The Silk Road. No, I'm not referring to the online black market, or am I? So this past winter break, as you saw in the video, the VGs had the privilege of touring Antarctica on the Crystal Symphony. And as many people know, I just toured the Crystal Symphony. And on that oh so majestic ship, there is a restaurant named the Silk Road that specializes in Asian cuisine. I had texted Micah literally months before we even left for the trip that we had to eat together, assuming he would know what to get since he's Japanese. At one point during the meal, Micah asked for a dish that wasn't on the menu, called natto, which he said was his favorite dish growing up in Shiba, Japan. I was obviously super excited for what Micah described to be this amazing food, but to my surprise, it was disgusting. Looking back, it was probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever consumed. So it's fermented beans that smell terrible, and they look like spider webs. Is that right? Yeah, it's like spider webs when you're eating it. It's actually just scary. And yet it was probably one of my favorite foods on the trip because of what it represents. Micah probably knew that I wouldn't like it, but he didn't care. It was a part of his past, a part of his culture, and a part of who he was that he wanted to share with me. Characteristic number 2, Micah encourages others to get out their comfort zone, and therein he tries to help develop you. And he has terrible taste. So this is the final story, time after time. This really isn't a story, and a bunch of the fourth year, or the people who graduated last year don't understand this. This isn't a story. It's more of a moment, and honestly, it's my favorite moment in the VGs, and maybe in UVA. While sitting in a cafe in Cusco, Peru, I was a first year, and at the time Micah was also a second year. The song Time After Time came on over the speakers. Now, Micah and I may be familiar with this song, but sitting in that cafe, eating the only good food we'd honestly had in a few weeks, we began to sing. And I'm assuming y'all know the chorus. This is the embarrassing part. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me, time after time. We repeated the chorus over and over and over. The song had probably ended a few minutes before that, but we didn't care. I definitely was not even close, just like that, to being on pitch. Micah, of course, was. But the rest of the VGs about wanted to kill the two of us, a bunch of the people sitting here. But that moment, and I know this sounds pretty cheesy, that moment was just the two of us letting go, of not caring, of being young, of being best friends. Characteristic number 3, Micah's Micah. Now I know that I haven't come close to explaining to you all who this man truly is and how much he has meant to this group, but I honestly can't. You can tell he's a singer, and a good one at that, but he's so much more. This next song you're about to hear is what I believe to be his greatest song, not because of how he sounds on it, but because of the emotion and passion he puts into it. Micah, you have been and will continue to be one of my closest friends, and one of the people I can confide in most. You have helped me become a better singer than I could have ever imagined. You've helped guide me through tough times with my classes, my family, and my faith. And most importantly, you have shown me what it truly means to be a good person and a Virginia gentleman. So here's to all the stories we've shared, to hanging out in the summer, to Damon, fighter of the night man, to throwing beer on my leg in Buenos Aires, to listening to Gavin James, to karaoke in Singapore, to Lord of the Rings marathons, and to every other moment we've spent together. I wish you a bright future and just ask that you don't forget to come back. And to all the fourth years, as I said this last year, friends may come and friends may go, and friends may peter out, but peter out and peter in. We'll be friends through thick and thin. Love you.